back at you, man. We're not playing no games out here, alright? Alright, today we're going to tackle the subject in the episode at hand is why parents just don't understand, alright?
As always, click and like the subscribe button below on the channel.
Yeah, and follow us on Twitter at MILDLY TV, and also follow us on Facebook at #MILDLY_TV. Fuck with it or cut the goddamn.
There you go.
computer.
Let's get into it, fellas.
Let's do it.
Parents
Yeah, man.
just don't understand. Hey, look, man, I'm gonna open the floor up. Y'all take it, man. Yeah, I mean, we can all go in on this subject.
Yeah, absolutely.
Woo! About to remix Will Smith shit. That's what
So look, let me ask y'all this, fellas. So I feel like this, I feel like we start at a young age to, try to establish earning money from a normal job. I mean, what do y'all think about that? Do you think you should start at a young age, or it just don't really matter, or what? To kind of come into your own with earning money.
I feel like when you're young, you should go after your dreams.
Okay.
Whatever your dreams are, whatever you want to be, pursue them while you're young, because you don't have any kids, you don't have much responsibility. You can do it. You can start over again later in life. But when you wait till you're 30 or 40 and you got kids, and you got a wife, you got a mortgage, and you got all these different things, it's a whole lot harder. But the point of the story is you cannot give up on your dreams. You just cannot. At any point, you can't give up on them. It's never too late.
Well, what you think? You think you should start at a young age? It don't really matter. You got a dream, yard cutter, what have you.
See, I'm glad you said yard cutter because, when you're a child, the main thing, the people you're going to model yourself after are the people that you see, the adults that you see.
Right.
And that's your parents. So I think when you're young, that model is important. But as you get older and you want to establish yourself and you have dreams,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Ambition. The world hasn't destroyed you yet. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think that as you get older, you should definitely pursue your dreams. And it's important to have support when you pursue those dreams. Because without that support, everything vanishes. Everything dries up without that support.
Yeah. And I think, personally, it's always best to start when you're younger. In anything in life. I mean, because that gives you more time.
Gives you a longer runway.
Yeah.
And it gives you more chances to mess up and still come back and start over. Especially athletes, we only have so long of a shelf life to pursue that athletic career. So, you definitely want to start out younger. So let me ask y'all this. Do you think it matters when you said if you're at home with your parents or if you got your own house, or do you think that make a difference, or it don't really matter if you at home or if you with your parents?
It makes a huge difference because when you're with your parents, you already know if they, you got to do it this way or get the fuck out. It's going to be that type of shit. Or, well, I'm supporting you. You at least need to have a job or go to college or whatever it is that's going to appease them. You end up appeasing them. You see what I'm saying? And see, what I'm saying is, it's like, when you're a parent, I can understand where that comes from. I get that. But what bothers me about it is, if your child has a dream, even if your child's dream is different from what it is that you had in mind for them, to not support that and to not respect that, you're actually doing your child a disservice. And the confidence that he has, you're actually cutting his knees off, cutting him off at his knees, so to speak.
Right.
Because his confidence is tied to his dream.
Right. That's real.
And if you don't support his dream, you're killing his confidence.
That's real.
You see what I'm saying?
You can't do that, man. Because a kid comes into the world bright-eyed and, as they say, bushy-tailed. And a kid feel like when he's 7 years old or 6 years old, he feel like he can do anything. The average child cuts on the TV and they see an image, whether it's Eddie Murphy, like it was for me, whether it's Kevin Hart nowadays, whether it's Jay-Z, whether it's whoever. They see an image, they see a character, and they begin to dream. They're looking at that TV, and they're looking at the effect of what that person's doing is having on the audience or society. music more so with society. You know, when you see Jay-Z on TV or you see Tupac on TV, and then you go outside and every car passing by is bumping that new Tupac, you say, man, I want to have that effect. I want everybody to be bumping my shit like that. I can sing, I can rap, you know, I can act. And what happens, especially in the black community, what ends up happening, when you come in that house and they say, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be an actor, like, you know, like Denzel Washington. I want to be a basketball player like Michael Jordan. You know, yeah, that's good, baby, and I support you. That's real good. But the chances of you being the next Michael Jordan is very slim.
Yeah.
What that really interprets as, what the real interpretation of that is, I'm only going to support you as your parent so far. I'll go to your little league games. I'll go to your little middle school game. I'll even go to your high school game. But nigga, when you hit 18, if you ain't got some offers on the table, you got to get a job and you got to get your ass out of my house. Nigga.
Yeah.
That's what that is, and that's what we gotta stop. You have to understand that when you give birth to a child, you're their parent. From the day they're born to the day they die. You never stop being their parent. So you have to support them thoroughly. So that, you know, so he don't get it in his teens. So he don't get it in his 20s. He might get it in his 30s. There's a lot of successful people in the world that didn't get it until they were in their 30s. Bernie Mac didn't get it until he was in his 30s. Steve Harvey didn't get it until he was almost in his 30s. It's a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So you can't give up on it, but they pressure you. You got to get a job. You got to do this. You got to get out of my house. Why do I have to get out of your house so soon?
So are you saying that as long as the child is continuing to pursue and actively put forth an effort in that particular field, you support them? Or if they tend to drift off, or if they're starting a family, you won't support them? Or is it an age limit? What kind of counteracts it to?
It's not an age limit. It's being realistic. The first thing that parents do is they put you in this unrealistic environment that if you don't do everything I say, the way I say it, then I can't support you. I can't do that. You're a child. You're a young adult. You're going to make mistakes. You might go out, as a young man, you might go out and get a girl pregnant at 20 years old or 21 years old. Your life doesn't end there. I might not go to the college that you wanted me to go to. I might not go to college at all. My life doesn't end there, and your support shouldn't end there. The point is, if I watched you as a child all the way up until the point that you are now, and I see a raw talent, I think you're funny. I think you can sing. I think you can act. I'm going to support you because I believe in you. Not because, oh, you do everything I say and you do everything right. But if you don't, I can't support you. That's what has to stop.
Yeah.
Because what happens is when you don't have the parent support, you're throwing a child out there in society to a job and he's not prepared. Or you're setting him up for mediocrity. That's what you're doing. You're saying, yeah, you know, the little football dream and the basketball dream was cute while you were in high school, but you know, it didn't work out. Get you a job, work there 30 years, get your retirement, and settle, and it's over. And it shouldn't be over at that age.
So, well, why do you say it's settling?
Well, because what it is the safety that comes with mediocrity. You know, it's just like when you look at a school of fish. School of fish, they pull together, and basically it's the safeties and numbers argument. So the motherfuckers on the outside get picked off. But those in the middle of the pack, i.e. middle class, blah, 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 we right in the middle. So we insulated from the sharks that come in and swoop and get the fish from one side. The dolphins that come in and swoop and get the fish from the other side. So I get it comes out of nurturing. You know, but at the same time, what you end up doing is you limit the potential of your child. You limit the potential of that person to develop into their best self. You know what I'm saying? You have to bump your head out here. Otherwise, if you don't bump your head, you don't know what that feels like, then you're gonna walk a path to where when you do bump your head, oh fuck this shit, you're gonna blow your brains out, or I can't cope. I don't know how to because you've never had any adversity. You know what I'm saying? So as a parent, and it does have to be realistic from the standpoint of if I'm a dwarf and I want to be in the NBA, that's probably not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? If my name is, Jay Sanders and I want to play football, that's probably not going to happen.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
Let me chime in. Audience, friends, lend me your ears. Jay Sanders is actually pretty talented in football, track, an immense amount of things. But this is not about me. This is about parents just don't understand. And what I would like to add to this is that, do we think that a child should have, or a parent rather, should have a certain rubric to follow to help our child be successful, i.e. building good relationships?
What does IE mean?
Example.
Oh, I never knew that. I always heard them say that. I never knew what IE meant.
That's what I'm here for.
When did that start?
It started 5 minutes ago. I understand it. It's a new word. Y'all catch up in the dictionary. It's not out yet.
I just heard white people say it. I thought it was
right. Because whatever they say is always correct. So we don't do a fact check. We need to anything. It's correct. They said it. That's what it is. So, do we think they need to have a rubric? Do we think that kids, in order to be successful outside of a normal job, need to follow a certain rubric, such as good grades, being respectful, such as doing chores, building relationships, or just create your own path in your own lane? Because I personally believe that all of those things do help. They don't make the magnification or put them in a success chair to be successful if they do all of those. Obviously, I feel personally that if you have hard work, you build a good rapport with those in that arena you're trying to appeal to, and you hit the path and keep it going and believe in your craft and study the craft, whatever you do, you'll be successful. Do you feel like there's a certain rubric that parents should follow to help their kids to be successful?
They don't have a blueprint.
Nah, they don't.
They don't have it. That's the problem. That's the whole point of this conversation. They don't have the blueprint because our parents in our age bracket, in the 30s, mid-30s to late 30s, our parents don't have the blueprint. Our parents is probably the first society, the first group of, the first generation is the word I'm looking for. First generation to go to college without hesitation, without discrimination.
Right.
They were the first ones to go. So if their parents fought for years just to go to college, just to go to integrated schools, and then their kids come along, which is our parents, their goal is to say, hey, I'm just happy to be here. If I graduate, that's an accomplishment in itself. If I go off to college, that's an accomplishment in itself. So they're trained and they're funneled to do school, college, job. And their parents are proud. They're saying, hey, my son worked at Dow, my son works at NASA, my daughter works at,
And let me ask you this. Why is it? Because I just had a neighbor, actually earlier today, to talk to me, and she said, once I told her my profession, she said to me, hey, I'm proud of you. I'm proud that you're married. I'm proud that you have, why is it that we as a society... Yeah, she was of our descent. She said, hey, I'm proud of you. And she said it was such disdain, as if you've accomplished, and it is an achievement, don't get me wrong, but why is it that we feel like, as if you said again, you go to school, you get your high school diploma, you get your college degree, you get a job, you're doing something extravagant. Why is that?
Well, the idea of success, which we basically get to Randy's point from our parents, is, you go to school, you go to college, you get a good job. And that has a lot to do with integration, I'm not gonna, because that's a very, very deep topic. So what I'll say about it is, to be associated with a job. From my parents' perspective, they grew up at a time, where you can work for one company, one job for 40 plus years, 30 plus years, retire and have a pension, and basically, that job cared for you as much as you cared and gave yourself to that job. That is no longer the case. But even though we know that's not the case, that doesn't stop people from still thinking that is the ideal goal and the way to measure success. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Right. We just haven't adapted. We haven't updated to these recent times where companies not only do they not have pensions for their employees when they retire, they have 401ks. I was reading something today that said in the next 5 years, companies are going to do away with pensions altogether. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So the loyalty and the loyalty and the commitment that a job had to an individual that was there when they were coming up is no longer there. It has changed. But see, this is the thing too. When you're and us, we'll probably be like that to a certain extent. But when those kind of things happen in your formative years, that's what sticks with you. So in my formative years, from 18 or 20 years old to maybe 45, 50 years old, in my formative years, if I see that this is the model of success, I'm going to be stuck on that. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Right. Especially if I'm not prone to, to be able to move and adapt with the times. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's my idea and my mode of success. I was successful like that. You need to do it like I did, son.
So do you think that we need to map out ideas and have plans and execute them within a timeline to see growth, or if not, do we need to come back to the drawing board to see what we need to remap?
I think parents just need to stop shooting down dreams. Yeah. I think that's what needs to happen, because as a parent and as a child, you don't know when it's going to happen for you. Mm-hmm. You get one life. Why live it mediocre? Mm-hmm. Why live it within this small...
Say that one more time for people out there. Say that.
You get one life. Why live it mediocre? Why live it in this one little lane that's prepared for you? You go to elementary, you go to middle school, you go to high school, you graduate. Hopefully you get a scholarship. If you don't, you go to community college, or we pay for you to go to college, and then you go on to get a job. Why does that have to be the...
We pay for you to go to college. Mm-hmm. How many of us have the money to pay for our kids to go to college?
It's a scam. College is a scam. See, we live in America. It's a capitalist society. Everybody's out to get money. Ain't nobody for you. Why in the fuck would Harvard give a damn if you come to their school unless you talk about some money? You're a dollar sign. Mm-hmm. And they don't give a damn. We really want this young man to be successful in this world. They don't care. How much is his parents paying in tuition? If they're going to pay it, can they meet it? Okay, let him in. Mm-hmm. That's all they care about. But people, say, if you go back in history, some of the most successful people that you've ever heard of, they never even graduated from high school. Yes. Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford. Some of these great people that their legacy still lives on today. Mm-hmm. Not because they went to this particular high school or they went to this particular college. It's because we underestimate the God-given talent, the God-given ability that He gives us. There's something that God puts in each and every one of us that you can't measure by a high school scale or a college scale. It's just, some people in life, they just got it. They just got it.
To figure, like, those guys, the Henry Fords and Andrew Carnegies, they had a dream. They had a dream. Yeah. And from that dream, you don't even necessarily know, like how things will line up to get there. You just know, hey, this is my end point. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but this is my end point. This is my dream. And if a parent can provide the support to that dream, even if it fails.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Dust yourself off and try again.
Yeah. But
dust yourself off and try again.
But the confidence that you gain from having that support, system, that's irreplaceable. Even if you fail, you understand what I'm saying? Because it's like, hey, you know, I did this shit, it completely failed, I landed flat on my face. Yeah. But I had the support and the confidence of people behind me, and that changes my character. That helps me build my character up to the point where, you know, now, if I'm faced with those same opportunities, you know, and now I have a little bit more, you know, I have more experience to draw from. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not as. It's going to be harder for me to fail now because, you know, I'm not going to fail the same way twice. Like, what was the dude Thomas Edison?
Yeah.
When he was making light bulbs, one of the things that he said was, okay, well, motherfuckers, and everybody has lights these days. We got these bright motherfuckers in here now. Right. Even though he didn't, you know, make them, but, you know, he was the one who patented them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But his thing was okay, well, yeah, I failed 99 times at making a light bulb. Well, I know 99 ways not to do it now.
That's it. I
know 99 ways not to approach this situation. And that's what I mean about confidence and support. And see, some people, like Rodney said, are born with that type of confidence and just have it, no matter what. Other people have to be built up. And if you don't have that support, you know, shit, that's...
So do you, because I've noted that you guys have stated at least 5 times the support. Do you think the support draws from the family or from within or from where you reside?
To me, it goes back to the measure of success. I think that's the problem, the measure of success. So when you're going on your journey from a young man or a young lady and you're trying to pursue your dream, whatever that may be, parents measure your success by shiny things.
Shiny shit.
What type of house does he have? What type of car does he drive? What type of, you know, whatever. And it shouldn't be measured by that. It should be measured by the due diligence, the effort, the passion, the happiness that person is getting out of what they're doing. See, we have to get to a point in life where it's not about what kind of car I can afford. Look how many rotten son of a bitches you know out there that work a job. Yeah, they got a nice truck, they got a nice car, they got a nice house, but they rotten, they bitter, they mad. Every time you see them, hey, what's going on, man? Oh, you shit, I gotta go in the morning. Yeah, they working the shit out of me. Who wants to live like that? Life is too short. Why do you want to put yourself in a position where you're just pissed all the time? You're mad. You don't want to work the hours. You don't want to go in. You got to miss your son's birthday party. You got to miss his graduation. You got to miss Christmas. You got to miss Halloween or Thanksgiving. Why do you want to go through that?
Well, the person
because you've given up.
Yeah.
Because you've given up. Now you sit there with a wealth of knowledge. You sit there with a wealth of talent, but you're afraid to tap into it. You're saying, man, you know, your coworkers and other people you know are saying, man, you can make some badass tables, or man, you can sing your ass off, and you ain't never tried to get out. Yeah, I thought about it. I sing at church on Sunday, but you know, I really don't do that. Why not? Man, I got bills to pay. I got kids to feed.
And that's why that support is very important. You know what I'm saying? And see, as a parent, to me, you know, that's why we have to be the ones to break the cycle. You shouldn't want your kids to have to do what you did.
Right.
You shouldn't want your kids to, like, the same trials and tribulations that you had to fucking go through. You shouldn't want them to have to go through.
It's an embarrassment, to be honest with you.
It really is. It's disgusting.
So what should we do
disgusting.
to put ourselves in a position to get to that point? Because I feel like if you have a family, if you have kids, your wife, a house note, you know, etc., should you just work on your 9 to 5 and work on your side dreams until your side dreams outweigh your 9 to 5?
This is what has to happen. at some point, especially for black people, at some point, some generation is going to have to take the L.
Yeah.
Somebody got to take the L.
That is true.
Somebody got to take it. If I ain't got nothing but a 9-to-5 job, and I'm making $800 a week, I have to figure out a way to make that $800 cover the expenses of the house. Plus, I can put $200 back in the stock market. I can take $200 and put it back in savings, in a high yield savings account. I can put it in a trust fund. I can put it in something that the later generation can benefit from.
And that nobody can take from.
That nobody can take from you. I got to take that money and buy some land. I got to take it. You have to do something. Somebody got to take the L. You can't keep going through society and want to be successful and you buying new cars every 3 years. You remodeling the house every 3 years. You go and get that new leather sofa from Finger Furniture and all this shit. At some point, it has to stop.
Yeah.
It has to say, hey, you know, I'm 40-something years old. I'm 50-something years. I've done good.
Yeah.
I got a roof over my head. I got a nice house. I got nice furniture. I got a good job. What am I doing for the next generation? Because with black people, what happens, everything always starts over.
Again. Yeah.
And in the white community, and in the Korean
passed,
community, and the Chinese community, their kids don't have to start over.
Mm-hmm.
The point of starting over is hell. That literally means that, hey, everything that I went through, guess what? You're going to have to go through it too. And hopefully you're stronger than me. You can go a little bit further than me. So you might look 50 years into the future where you finally get a generation that's strong enough to push through the adversity and make something of themselves. But if the prior generation before that would have said, you know what, I'm going to leave this behind so the next generation don't have to go as hard as I did. They don't have to struggle as much as I did. So somebody has to take the L, and a lot of times in the black community, nobody wants to take the L. A lot of black women and a lot of black parents, they want to drive the El Dorado to the grave. You can't go get the new El Dorado every year. You can't go get the new Lexus or the Mercedes every year.
Right.
Hey, old nigga, that's enough.
Yeah.
Stop at the 2005 version. You good.
You got your two, right.
Stop at this. You don't need this. You should not be proud sitting there saying, I'm driving the brand new Lexus. My house is fully furnished, and I don't have anything saved for my kids. I don't have anything in place for my kids. You should get tired of that.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here because, see, a lot of that comes from the deficit that we as black people have had, you know, especially here in America. When you told you not shit, you ain't going to be shit, you ain't never going to be shit, and you never had shit.
Right.
As far as the dominant society is concerned.
We had, but we took it.
Well, however you want to, you know, say it. But as a person that comes from that, and see, we are products of that, but our parents were the last generation to actually see that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So when they're coming from that perspective where they've never really had anything, to be able to have this same shit as this white person.
What you gonna do with it?
Do you see it? But it doesn't even. It's just to be able to have it, or say that I can
that's
have
where
access
they stop.
to it.
That's as far as they can process.
That's it.
I got it.
That's it.
Let me go show Kathy. Let me go show Joanne. Let me go show Ricky and Bobby. I got to do this. I look at my house. Look at this. But you have nothing for the next generation. You have to set aside at a certain point. This is for my kids. This is for them. Because everybody can agree that the world is not getting easier. It's getting harder.
Facts.
So just in our generation, some of the things that we used to could get away with when we were younger, you can't get away with now. I remember when you used to have you could go get insurance, and they would give you the card, and you could carry that card around for 6 months because the card showed that you had insurance. Cops look at, oh, okay. But now, computers. They said, no, I don't give a damn what this card says. This computer, this updated computer system says you don't have insurance.
You missed your payment yesterday.
Right, so it's like, no, you know, you going to jail or you getting a ticket. So it's not getting easy, it's getting harder. So somebody has to step in and say, you know what, enough is enough. I've had enough. I've reached a certain plateau in life. Stop being a consumer. Stop always trying to go out and get the latest and greatest thing when you're 50 and 60 years old. Put something back. If you see your son or your daughter over there struggling with something, an idea, everything starts from an idea. And they say, man, so you want to be an actor, or you want to start a bakery, or you want to start a restaurant? What you got going there? Show me what you got. What you want to do. Let me taste some of your food. This is good. If we package this up right, if we do this, we could make something out of it. Me and Mama ain't got a lot, but we can invest $5,000 into you. We can invest $10,000 into your dream to see, what it could become. That's what it takes.
So we have to be the ones willing to take that chance. Right. If not, it's just going to be, like you said, it may be 50 years from now, but if we're the ones to take that chance now, then, we have a base to build from. And let me say this, and this is not going to be very popular. For people who actually have dreams and are dreamers, without that support, you're just going to have to, say, fuck it, bro. And you got to go out there and you literally have to make it
the hard way.
You got to do it the hard way.
Without support.
Which is stupid.
Oh,
you got to go through a bunch of unnecessary shit.
It's completely stupid.
Because you have no base.
You have nothing to draw from. A tree is strongest at its roots. You understand what I'm saying? And if you have nothing to draw from, to pull up from the earth, then you're already starting behind, basically.
But are those trees being watered, being nurtured? Are you seeing some continual growth, or are they just staying stagnant?
But that's what I'm saying. If this is your dream, and this is what makes you happy, even if you're 40 years old and you're trying to be a fucking rapper, I'm not finna buy that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck who you are. Me. You know what I'm saying? But if that's what makes you happy, and that's your dream, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm not telling you to be a failure. But what I'm saying is, if that is your dream, and you are happy with that, and you are content with that, who am I to tell you?
The key word that he just said that I like is content. In this life, we're not content with anything. No. And that's what keeps us on the rat race. That's what keeps us on the hamster wheel.
Right.
That we always want the latest and greatest, and we want to have this, we gotta have this. Because if you go get a big house, then I gotta go get a big house. If you go get a new car, I gotta go get a new car. We gotta get out of that bullshit. Because what you got going on ain't got a goddamn thing to do with what I got going on. That's what black people especially have to understand. Stay in your lane. Do what works for you. Because $100,000 unhappy ain't worth shit. $70,000 happy is better. Take the 70 and manage it right. Do the right thing with it. Be happy. Be a good father. Be a good husband. Be a good mother. Quit trying to figure you got to go out and do all these extravagant things to keep up with materialistic shit, which only makes some other race or some other person rich. That's what they bet on. It's just like the concept of Henry Ford when he came out with the Model T. Model T came out in one standard form. It was in black. Henry Ford said, why would anybody else need another vehicle? General Motors come in and said, how can we get the competitive edge on Ford? Let's change the color. Let's offer more amenities in the car. So that started the rat race. Because then Ford came out with the Model T, and then General Motors came out. We got basically the same car, but we got it in red. Then another couple years go by. We got the same car, we got it in red, plus we got a push-button starter. And then we got air conditioning, and we got this, and we got that, which was fair back then because, they were on the evolution of things. They were making things better. But nowadays, you don't need some of the shit that some of these cars come with, but you're going to go get it. You're a consumer. You're just going to go get it for the sake of saying I got the 2020 version. I got the 2019 version. Which my thing of it is, if I buy a 2014 brand new off the showroom floor, and I decide to drive it to 2025, it ain't good for that? You telling me I got to trade in my 2014 in 2018? Why? That means you're selling me a bullshit product. Back back in the day, in the 1800s, they wore the average American had one, maybe two pair of shoes. Why? Because the quality of the shoes were so good, there was no need to keep buying shoes. It's like, I got a black pair, I got a brown pair, that's all I need.
Yeah.
But see, we've come into this consumer era where we got to get everything. And people don't realize that you're being preyed upon. You know, every commercial, every little thing you pop up on your phone is to get you to buy something.
Yeah. And so
look at us, look at us, look at us.
And the little wealth that you do make and generate, you turn around and you go and consume.
Yeah.
So once again, that wealth is escaping your community.
Yep.
And the cycle the cycle continues. The same cycle that made you want to be a consumer in the first place because you feel like you're less than, or you feel like you're missing out on something. It just starts all over again. You know what I'm saying? And that's why support is critical and support is crucial. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have it, don't let that discourage you.
Yeah.
You have to be able to push forward. Like whatever vision it is that you see in your head, when motherfuckers is jumping up and down on it and kicking it, you know what I'm saying? Oh, nigga, that ain't shit, blah, blah, blah. You have to have the foresight and the fortitude, the nuts, to be able to say, you know what? I'm going to do this anyway.
Right.
I'm going to do it anyway.
I'm going to do it anyway.
Those are the people that succeed.
Those are the people that
do
succeed.
it anyway.
So it seems like, as a whole, that, you guys agree that ultimately support is great, but the biggest support is yourself.
Oh, you got to believe in what you're doing.
You better.
You got to believe in what you're doing. I mean, even though your family may not support you, and 9 times out of 10 they won't.
Yeah.
It depends on what you get. Because the thing about families and mothers and fathers, if they're not familiar with something, they can't support it. Now, if you say, I'm going to start a moving company, okay, well, you got a couple movie jobs, they can support that, because they can, you know what I'm saying, they can phantom that.
They can touch
say, okay, I've seen a successful moving company before, I've seen a successful meat packing company or whatever. Mm-hmm. But when you say, I'm going to start a podcast, I'm going to create a software, something out of thin air, that's never been done in their generation, they're lost. They're saying, what the hell are you talking about? What the hell is a podcast? What the hell is YouTube? What the hell is software? What are you talking about?
You gotta go to the office.
You gotta go to the office. They don't understand that an 8-year-old child made $15 million last year.
15 million.
Sitting at home doing his video. They don't understand that. A lot of our parents don't understand that it's possible that through technology you can reach the world.
Yeah.
You from your living room. You can get on Facebook, you can get on YouTube, and you can post a video, and you can reach the entire world. It's some niggas in Africa. I fuck with you. Miley attention TV. They're in Africa. They fucking with it.
Yeah.
But that wasn't possible in their day. You had to go through an agent. You had to get in with a studio. You had to do this. So what a lot of parents need to do, they need to get up to the modern time. They need to say to themselves, I don't understand it, but I can research it. Thank God for Google. I can research it. I can look at it. And I can investigate what you're trying to do, son or daughter. And I stand behind you. Because me and mama, we good. I did it the traditional way. I sucked it up. I got up at 3 or 4 in the morning. I got up when it was cold. I got up when it was raining. I got up when it was hot. I got up and I did what I had to do. And I went to work. And when I wanted to say something, I shut up. I didn't say nothing. When I was tired, when I was sick, when I didn't want to go to work, I did it. When that boss came in and he talked to me any kind of way, I took it. When they told me I didn't have no more days left to call in, and I knew damn well I did, but I had to come to work, I took that. So you don't have to take it. That's what it used to be. Remember, the original philosophy was, I'm doing this, so you don't have to go through it. But somewhere in translation, that got lost to, I went through it, you got to go through it. That's life, son. That pisses me off to the core when your parent tells a child, that's life. That's just the way it is. That's bullshit. Because that is not the way it is. That's the way you choose it to be.
Right.
If you want something different, by golly George, you can have something different. If you got the guts, the balls to deal with it and endure it, you can have different. You don't have to spend 30 years of your life working on some job that you have. You don't care about none of it.
Yeah.
That's the thing about life. God didn't put us here to work some job that we care nothing about. Most jobs you spend the majority of your time on.
Yeah.
So if you got 100% pie and you're spending 80% of your time on the job, wouldn't you want to spend it on something that you love to do, that you care about?
Yeah.
Or do you want to spend it on just griping and moaning and bitching every day? That ain't what God intended.
So that somewhat goes back to when you obtain, you keep it. Because you keep it by investing it into the future. Or you get it and you spend it. So if we take the time, like you said, it's a sacrifice as to support or to invest in our own, then we're going to keep it because it's still within our own family. But if we sacrifice, we work the hours, we get it, we spend it, we're doing nothing but being a
consumer. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You got to get out of that. People have to get out of being consumers. You're being preyed upon.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get worse because technology pinpoints it in the accuracy of the predatory behavior. It's only going to get better. Because just like that, everybody can witness. And out there, you said something, and it pop up on your phone, or it pop up on your computer, or it pop up on your TV screen. You're in regular conversation in your living room. You say, yeah, I like that new Corvette. And then all of a sudden, a new Corvette commercial pop up. Because they're listening. Every advertising agency in the world wants to know what you think. Prey upon you every day. You might look at that first commercial and say, yeah, it's nice, but nah, I can't afford it. Then the next day, brand new Corvette. Wouldn't you like to drive? Experience America. And you looking at that commercial, damn, that thing clean. Then the next day, it come on again, and it come on again, and it come on again. Well, you get off work one day. I'm going to go by here and see what they talking about. How much they talking for these vets. That's what happens.
I think the biggest thing for our generation is to not get into the habit of always wanting to compete, but to be an addition rather than subtraction. We add to the next generation, whether it be pouring into financially, mentally, spiritually, we're adding to. But we get into a mindset where now in our 30s, 40s on up, where we're subtracting. We shouldn't be at a point where we're competing with one another. We should be enjoying life. We should be taking trips. We should be talking about getting out and seeing the world other than not just our own, four corners.
Let me say, our generation is unique in the fact that we were born in between a time. We're born in between the traditional shit and the takeover of this internet shit. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about a sacrifice and the group that's probably going to have to make that sacrifice, and we're really talking about getting past this situation when you literally have to almost be a slave in order to make it, it's going to be with us. So the children that we have, the kids that we have, it's very important that we support them and encourage their dreams, because now, more so than ever, pretty much anything is possible. And anything was possible in our parents' day, but they had things to trip them up, and they had other situations that they had to deal with that we still have to deal with today. But the ability to transcend those situations has kind of changed with the internet. A motherfucker don't even have to know you black or militant or whatever. Then you have to know your innermost thoughts and desires. You know what I'm saying? To get on the internet and be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm selling this product, or I'm doing this podcast, and this is something that I love to do. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have to have a brick and mortar store to sell it.
That's what changes.
You see what I'm saying? I don't have to have a physical. Like before, when I'd have to have a physical store. That's $8,000 or whatever a month.
Way more.
You understand what I'm saying? Just to have this corner, just to have this store. Before I can even be relevant, before I can even make a dime, I got to come off of $8 grand. just to have this location.
Right.
Whereas now, with the internet and with certain skill sets, you know, if you have them, you can be just as relevant as this motherfucker over here selling whatever at Walmart.
All about what you put into it.
You know, that's all it is. Sacrifice.
You
work
gotta
hard,
have that support.
and effort.
You know, you gotta stop cutting these kids down at a young age. I mean, when do you wake up and say, hey, times have changed?
Yeah.
Son, you know, maybe college is not for you.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you do have an ability or a talent that I think that the world would love.
Right.
You know, I'm going to support you. I'm going to do this. You know what I'm saying? When does that kick in? Stop preaching the same old shit. What parents are doing now, they're coaching their kids into mediocrity. That's what they're doing. Go get that job. Work there for 30 years. You'll get a medical plan, you'll get an insurance plan, and you'll retire, and you'll be a miserable son of a bitch just like me.
Just like me.
You know, barely being able to do shit. What kind of sense? Tell me this with jobs. What type of sense does this fucking make? Look at it from a logical standpoint. I get on with you when I'm 21. You tell me how much vacation time I get. You tell me how much my hourly wage is. And I work for you, and I work for you, and I work for you, and I hit a 5-year mark. And you say, okay, instead of one week vacation, you get 2-week vacation. And I work, and I work, and I work. I tell you when to go to break. I tell you what time to be to work. I tell you what time to get off work. And then I present you with this retirement plan, which is a 401k. You put this much in, I put this much in. You put this much in, I put this much in. Now, I'm going to hold your money. I'm going to hold it. It's your money. Now, if you choose to go in there and take a little bit out because life has kicked your ass and you need the money for whatever, I'm going to penalize you. Because this is meant for you when you get to be 65 years old. If you touch it before then, I'm going to penalize you. It's your money. You work for it. You put that in there. Same thing with medical. They tell you what to do on that. They tell you what to do on your retirement. So you're telling me, it's almost like religion. You know, do this, do this, do this, do this now while you're on earth because there's a pie in the sky. There's this beautiful thing in the sky. You're gonna go live with him and rest with him. You won't be tired no more. You'll dance and you'll praise, and the streets will be paved of gold. So you sitting down here passing up pussy and shit. You're not cussing. You're not doing nothing because I'm looking for this pie in the sky. What happens is in the real world, you begin to be 65 years old, and that day comes, you say, yeah, man, you know, tomorrow my last day. They give you a piece of cake. They clap for you. We sure appreciate you. You was good. And you get your ass out of here, and they give you them peanuts. You got to figure 30 years, dude. They done made millions of dollars off of your work. You get $300,000, $350,000. You 65 years old. If you work in a hazardous environment, you didn't inhale, work on the strain, your back bad, your knee bad, your leg bad, all that shit's bad on you. Now you're 65. You take your regular ass home. You go to your wife. She been waiting on you to retire. So now y'all arguing every day. You begin to cough. You can barely get up out your recliner. Your body's breaking down because why? You're old now. What you gonna do? Go to the dealership and get a Corvette and put a set of keys on your hips and some tight ass Levi's and think you the man? What are young girls at? They gone, nigga. They left 30 years ago. You was on graveyard. The young niggas got all the pussy.
And them 30 years, that's what really drives it home for me is all those sacrifices that you made, you know, in order to ensure that you retire and all that other shit. Those 30 years that you were making those sacrifices, you still barely make it. You still really don't got no money. You can barely, y'all got food. You know, got a roof over your head, but let some shit happen and you miss work for a month or 2 weeks.
And the big, this is what I want to address too. The big misconception is people think that jobs are so much more secure than entrepreneurship, and they're not. Because you can come to work too many times late, and they'll fire your ass. Somebody can make a claim against you and say that you did something, or you said something, or you hit them, or whatever, and they fire your ass. The company cuts back. They cut your position out. Whatever. They can let you go. Now you sitting your dumb ass at home, mad, and your wife looking, well, the bills due, what we gonna do? You put all your eggs in one basket. Versus saying, if I'm fortunate enough to have a job that pays me $75,000 to $100,000 a year, take some of that money and put it into some of your dreams, something that you really want to do outside of the job. So if anything was to happen on this main job, that's okay. I've been generating $30,000 or $40,000 over here in real estate. I've been generating $30,000 or $40,000 over here in my own business. So I ain't assed out. And I ain't as good as I was, but I'm assed out.
And that's why I'm glad, that it's a two-edged sword. That's why I'm glad that these companies ain't taking care of motherfuckers like that no more. Because that sense of loyalty that people had, that sense of, I worked for them for 30 years, they look out for me. Motherfuckers don't think like that no more. So now, you can even see it with the athletes. Even the athletes, they be like, hey, y'all ain't winning championships, or y'all ain't doing this, and y'all ain't doing that. Fuck you, I'm not finna play for you. I'm going over here where I want to go. And see, that's what I'm saying. That sense of, everything's gonna be okay. I got a hand rocking my cradle. That shit is dead. You understand what I'm saying? It is done, bro. Look, and that's gonna help us wake up.
That's what it is, fellas. So look, we've hit on it, guys. On Parents Just Don't Understand. Y'all chime in and y'all get back to us. You can follow us at what, fellas?
Mildly Offensive TV, hashtag Mildly Offensive TV on Facebook, and on Twitter. Hit us up at Mildly TV. Make sure every time that you come to our channel on YouTube, you hit that like and subscribe button. That's the only way we keep going. I know our environment ain't that great, but we're trying to get there. But if you hit that subscribe button, if you hit that like button, you never know. The next time you cut it on us, we fuck around being a bitch.
Yeah, and chime in. Give us your comments, your feedback, so we can speak up on that, what you feel, what you think. But only if you do that at what?
Mildly Offensive
And
merchandise coming soon, too.
Yeah,
and family and parents, get up off that bullshit.
Get up off that!
Start supporting your kids.
Yeah,
Little Ray and Elroy and Junior that's sitting in front of you, support it. If he want to be a goddamn entrepreneur, let him be an entrepreneur. Quit hating on him because you don't understand. It's a new generation.
If he want to be a magician, go to his goddamn
show. Fuck that. If he want to be a magician, ain't no records out to hate on this motherfucker.
There you go. Follow
that
at Mildly Offensive TV.